Sync clap. Hi guys, welcome back to CMD and another video. You join me at Porsche Centre Nottingham, a new purpose-built destination Porsche site. I have filmed in this location, and if you haven't seen that video, be sure to check it out. Complete tour of this place, which is spot on. I'm here today visiting Tom Hale and the team, filming a number of cars, including a 911 Carrera 4 GTS and the new Cayenne, to name but a few. But while I'm here, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to touch base actually on the running cost of my 911. So I'm 2 years into that ownership experience now. The car has covered in excess of 10,000 miles with me, 4 track days, and has been through a 4-year service as well, which is obviously a big one to say the least. So I thought I'd actually just run through some of the costs just for potential owners and people who might be interested in that sort of information. So track days, first and foremost. I mean, the car's been pretty faultless with regards to how it's operated on those days. It has literally done everything. It's comfortably the most I've ever spent on track days because the car goes and goes and goes. So my fuel bill on those days is in far and away in excess of anything I've ever spent on those days, because the car just doesn't need to rest. It does before the internet sort of bites my head off, but the reality is the car will run and run and run and then drive you home in perfectly good shape. Because of that work, it has had 4 new tyres. So I went to Michelin PS4S's. That was about £1,250 fitted at a local specialist, which was about what I expected, bearing in mind the size of that rubber as well. Insurance-wise, I'm a 36-year-old. Car is parked securely in a garage, and that was in excess of about £800. I think. So no claims, no points, so relatively clean licence, all things considered. Call that reasonable or not. I think in today's world of insurance, that's probably pretty good for the sort of car it is, to be honest. The 4-year service was a big one, so got contacted by my local Porsche dealership, not Nottingham. Nottingham's about 2.5 hours away for myself, and they quoted me £1,650 for the 4-year service, which is a big one, to be fair. It includes an awful lot of work, including filters and fluids. But I managed to get that done by a specialist again, so that was £1,200 at PCR Porsche. If you haven't heard of those guys before, check them out. They're a West Midlands based company, but they were really, really good, really professional. Can't recommend them highly enough. Work was carried out by a ex-Porsche technician, all Porsche parts. Yeah, really pleased with the work. Very thorough service with some help. Was a bit concerned about the brakes when I sent it in, because the brakes aren't due yet, but I'm conscious that the car's done some pretty heavy track work, including places like Bedford and Silverstone, so quite quick tracks, quite heavy on the brakes, and actually they're still in really good shape, so they're still sort of looking like they're going to operate within the recommended window, so they shouldn't need touching pad-wise for some time yet, touch wood. Running day today is probably where I think it's been the most impressive. So I've driven to Porsche Nottingham today. It's about a 2-hour journey for me. On a good run, 2.5 on a bad. Today, I think the car did 34.5 mpg, and that wasn't necessarily taking my time or rushing. That was just moving with the flow, bit of traffic, bit of stop-start, etc. And so actually, from a 2-year perspective, I feel like the car's been extremely good at what it does, all things considered. I think for the performance that's on tap when you want it to, bearing in mind mine's the PDK, that 8th gear in the motorway sort of general commuting is valuable, to say the least. Certainly helps, but from my perspective, it's probably been cheaper than I would have expected. And the nice part for myself as well is that every time I've got into the car, I've never ever worried about if the thing's going to be okay or if it's going to start. It really has been utterly faultless. Yeah, I've got to say, I've written down sort of some of these costs, including insurances and service, and actually, for the car that it is and the performance that's available and what it's capable of, I can't fault it. I'm not saying those things are cheap. I understand that's obviously very subjective and it's all about affordability these days, but actually, all things considered, I think it's been a relatively reasonable sports car to run, as it were, but I'll leave the internet to tell me whether that's the case or not. I was really just hoping to put something out there that gave everyone a bit of a view as to what it's like to run. That was it. It was really just a quick check-in from me. I hope that's of some use to someone out there who's considering this sort of car. Really big thank you to Porsche Nottingham and Tom Hale. This place is a cauldron of fantastic machinery. I feel a bit like a kid in a sweet shop, to be honest, walking around. But I've really enjoyed my day here. I've got a little bit of tidying up and a bit of admin to do, so I'm going to do that now. before I head on back. But huge thank you to those guys and to you guys for tuning in. Be sure to tune in soon. That content will be quick to follow. Hope to see you guys soon. Cheers.